to play Camille support into Shen is very, very miserable experience. But given that it's Zeus, I think it is most likely just going to be him playing it. We did see the Leona already hovered. It's going to be instead the ban coming through here. Now, most likely, Showmaker or a Barrel Rider wants to go to support something like the Rel, so you can pick Ezreal here, which is still open.
I think you can just pick Ezreal.
Alistair. Yeah, you pick Ezreal, and they go something like MF Rel.
Yep.
MF also gains value because you're playing it with the Lilia, right? That combo is quite strong. So I think that Rel MF is most likely here, and then you go Alistair on 5, and then I think HANWHA Life are not going to be too sad about what they end up with.
Absolutely not. I think this is a little bit of a worry, to be honest, because I felt like this was very face-up. They even sort of gave it away by the fact that they banned away the Shen, knowing exactly what Nongshim found so much success with, and that was the Ezreal on the bottom side of the map in that draft as well.
So Corki. Viper Ezreal.
Yep, Corki also a bit of a consideration here as, oh man, MF just does not fill me with joy. It's just not been a pick that's found all that much success. There is a fair bit of early power here as far as DK is concerned, but instead they're going to go towards a Braum. So that's what Barrel's decided to lock away. Aiming, where are we going? Is it going to be Braum Fortune? Could be. Unless he decides to go with something else. What is his answer to the Ezreal? That's the question. More Trinity Forces.
I do think that the Corki I like a lot more than the MF, because I think Corki AD carry has actually been fine. So this really changes the comp. My expectation would be that it is even though he's paired with a Braum, I still think it should be Lethality.
Yes.
Because I don't think he gets the auto into the enemy team. But it does work really well with that. Oh my god. HANWHA Life have just been on point with these drafts. The one issue that their comp has is I think the engage is fully reliant on Zeus, but that is one of the best top laners in the world, if not the best, on one of his late game, can blow her up in a second.
Certainly can. Certainly a few more options here for DK to play through, and Xiu is on a great matchup here towards the top side of the map. The Ambessa into the Camille might give him some avenues. We'll see whether they can spot some lane swaps as we dive into game number 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, under the rift for game number 2 of our best of 5 series. It is the upper bracket final before we get to the grand finals, and of course, Nongshim going to be taking on Genji coming up tomorrow. The winner of that series will then face the loser of this one, and then we will have our finalists decided. See who's going to be heading towards first stand.
Ooh, some things to note. Aiming did go for on-hit. Makes you a lot stronger in the 2v2.
Yeah.
Gives you a ton of... They should look for an invade here as well. I don't know where or when, but with something like the Braum, at the very least, invade for vision, but it doesn't look like they want to run the risk as they are going for the swap again. And yeah, that makes sense. I don't think you want to play into Ezreal Karma, particularly early on. Very, very unfun. Also, Aiming went for TP, which definitely is noteworthy. Makes sense to me when you look at what HANWHA have, as in that I don't think Cleanse gets that much value because most of it is, knock-ups.
Yeah. Actually, a Ghost would have given him a lot of value if he wanted to play the on-hit.
If you want to play on-hit, yeah, no, I'm with you. But maybe identifying that in the previous game, a lot of their issues came from the complete lack of being able to match the HANWHA rotations. And this game, it's just as important, right? Because they're again leaning into the kind of global style, they're leaning into skirmishing. So they need to, very early on, make something happen. As we have Zeus, I'm not sure if he got spotted. I don't think he did, based on the ping. We only saw the Raptors getting pinged. So yeah. He's going to try and make his way towards the top side of the map. Maybe look, they do have a strong dive with the Braum if the Ambessa is there as well. We'll see how big this wave is. I think that not all of it will crash here. I think only the melee, so might be able to set up a big wave here on the second go with Zeus. He's just going to hit level 2. He's just soaking XP.
Yeah, just out of vision. As there it is, level 2 is going to be gained.
Braum
Whether it's going to be enough is the question. Exactly right.
Needs to get tagged.
Yep, that ward gives away Beryl's position. Peanut nowhere near as Hextech sweep. Going to at least try and soften up the minions. Not going to be quite enough though, as they do start this one off. Beryl can take one more shot. Aiming does not want to get the ramped up turret.
2 portions, wait for the ramp off to fall, but Zeus, I think, is just going to go back as a Showmaker.
Yeah, Showmaker is in a little bit of trouble here. Does have that Conqueror proc, but it's not going to be enough to help him. And he wasn't spotted, so Zeus
as we thought,
is not seen, and you can see in the picture-in-picture, that's very cool.
And now, the TP, or the back didn't actually go through, so I think Zeus does have to abandon ship here. But just abandoning is not the end of the world.
And they're investing so much. Because you can see already 2 plates go down on the bottom side, a third should be coming in soon. And there is no one there soaking that experience, and in the meantime, you've also got Showmaker struggling. Winds of War come down, has to mitigate that one. And this is not going the way that DK wanted to. Already a 400 gold lead. That represents just first blood going down. I mean, no one's died yet, but that's the amount of gold that has gone over to HLE. Yeah,
right. It's the plates because DK is having multiple people here. Peanut is on the ward, and Zach actually going for phase rush. We've seen mostly just the aftershock, and I do think in this matchup it makes a ton of sense as the back gonna get cancelled there is a big deal.
Yeah.
Zeus just playing an amazing lane swap thus far. Out of vision, gets the soak for the experience. Hasn't even TP'd yet, by the way.
Nope. And it's 1 minion apiece between both of these top laners. As it should be another plate going down for Shiu as he gets stunned underneath the turret. Has to make his way out. You can see. And Zeus going to avoid losing another plate here on this top side. 600 gold is now the advantage as Lucid comes round. This could have been a place where DK could have found a lead because we know that Lilia farms so incredibly fast, but Peanut's also been able to navigate his way through the jungle absolutely beautifully. Showmaker does do his best to try and stop those Winds of War from knocking him out of the lane. So far, he's looking a bit worse for wear.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I think normally Pantheon should have a better time in the longer trades, because Galio, so much of his burst is up front, right?
Yeah.
Going for some CC, drop the Winds of War, but you don't really get to extend your trades because he's running phase rush, so actually staying on top of him is kind of hard, and the laning phase does start looking great. Now, I do think DK has been able to pull it back a little bit. The plate lead is going to remain. As long as the turret doesn't actually drop, though, it's not the end of the world. We do see, though, because of the soak of experience for Shiu, Beryl is behind in experience, just shy of level. Aiming and Viper are a lot closer. We're going to have to see DK, once they hit 6 and the power of Lucid and Showmaker gets enabled, to do a lot more. As that's another cancel found by Zeus there.
Yeah, Zeus continuing to just sit on his Doran shield. I'm issuing the same situation. It just feels like Zeus has had DK in the palm of his hand so far this game. So much of this early game he has been responsible for. And we're actually having a conversation about lane swaps on the POG state just earlier on, and we were saying, like, how is a good lane swap supposed to be entertaining? Well, this is definitely a good lane swap played out by HLE, largely due to Zeus. As Showmaker puts up his shield and tries his very best to be okay. Lucid now in position to try and answer this as he takes the first one. Okay, able to spin around a bit, but there is the heroic entrance. Grand Starfall coming on through as Lucid avoids the knock-up, but that is going to leave his Pantheon alone. And Lucid cannot actually help out here as Zeus gets over the wall. The door is given to Zeus as Peanut dives on forward, and that is first blood, and in quick succession, the second one as well. As the Winds of War coming on through here, Shiu gets taunted up. They take down the Lilia, but Shiu's at least able to answer one of them, but that's feats of strength already for HLE as far as kills.
Yeah, and even with that Braum passive, there just wasn't enough. Key thing there for me is that Zeus had already completed the back. Shiu hasn't, and Zeus was still earlier to the play. The one upside here is that with the light roaming over, we do have aiming, getting finally some plates, some time alone here, but these early skirmishes were DK's bread and butter.
Yeah, this was supposed to be where they were going to find their avenue into the game. Unfortunately, they have slipped out instead. Let's see. whether they can actually find an avenue back. At least they deny the objective feat of strength.
There's a level lead here for Delight. They try and go in on Peanut, but that obviously doesn't work. Play gets extended because of the shield to come through. And then Barrel's a lower level. Lucid doesn't have his ultimate, and even with Barrel blocking there, Showmaker still ends up going down. And you can see Shio as well. He's like, where do I go? Can't just join the fight because he doesn't have his ultimate available. And I thought that the Braum passive might mean that they can kill Zeka just a little bit faster. And as we can see, Viper roaming over could have made it even worse. It looks like Dragon was picked up here by DK, but still, this is a sizable deficit very early on. It's Peanut already building a lead on Zinzao, a champion that is notoriously snowbally. And DK, they get the next skirmish, and then maybe one more. But after that, this is feeling an awful lot like game number 1.
Yeah, Public Execution is at least now available for Shu. But Hextech Ultimatum on the other side of the coin is also going to be up. So some big deal ultimates for the next fight going to be up. So she going to be stopping it back there, actually, as Zeus was out of vision.
Get a kill.
Still just making sure that it was going to be okay. But yeah, like we were saying, with these ultimates available, it can be pretty dicey here on the top side of the map. As Zeus going to give away his position, gets that physical shield. She was still able to win out on that trade, sending him underneath the turret. And the young gun, see what he can get done here. This Ambessa pick is a huge deal for DK as well, just because Shio has been so incredibly good at this champion.
And he's gonna have to, right? Like, he's the only one that's sitting on a sizable lead. He is, I assume, going to be able to really keep bullying this Camille until we get to the very late stages of the game. Right? Yep. Eventually, Emil just kind of outskills almost everything.
The old true damage factor.
Yeah, having a Cho'Gath ult on your Q2 always feels great.
Not too bad.
As Beryl is still level 4. Will hit 6 off of the next minion. I don't know if that alone is enough. Showmaker does have his ultimate available.
Hit 6 or hit the floor. As Peanut does throw down the ulti just to make sure that he's all right. Grand Starfall there from Showmaker as well. But Beryl is just going to take the kitchen sink and then is going to be able to stand beside his teammates.
Sure, he's
try to be okay. As, yeah, you can see that Zeus is still trying to go home. Oh, man, it could be nap time. There he goes. They push in the minion wave. There's the ulti coming out from Shiu as Hextech Ultimatum comes on through. He gets the shield. The flash forward. He flashes away. Shiu tanks up the turret, trying to keep Lucid alive, and it will work. But, man, that looked way more difficult than it had any right to be. A second kill goes over to DK, but they had to work for it.
Oh, that was not the cleanest execution there from Lucid and Shiu. I do think it's notoriously hard to dive Camille because of the fact that she can use her ult to offset. So they play the first part well, where they go for the bubble. They ensure that Zeus just can't cancel the sleep by ulting on top of Shiu. But then there, I think it's Shiu that cancels the sleep, and I think Lucid doesn't actually hit the center of his W, which is where so much of the Lilia damage comes from. Yeah, I think he just barely misses it, so he still does damage, but not quite as much. And then Zeus plays it super cleanly, extends the play, trades flash for flash.
I actually think that Shiu tanking that last turret shot, those saved Lucid's life.
Oh,
I think Lucid definitely couldn't have taken 2. So that was well played. And ultimately, they did manage to get the kill. And that is a big deal. The problem is that they traded it for feats of strength, which then go over to HLE by that tower falling down. Peanut should be able to get yet another stack of grubs, as we have Lilia moving up, but HLE just have so much power at this stage of the game.
He does have Blade done now. That's a big spike. They have to go. They can't.
Well, he's teleporting in. They're going to see what they can get done here. As 3 grubs goes over to HLE, and the dregs will be collected here by DK. This time around, though, it is going to be 3 for 3, and so no Void Mites and things to worry about there, as 5 grubs in the last game was a big deal. The problem is that tempo is still in HLE's favor, and they've been our best team at playing on the red side so far this tournament. It's been a lot of 5-game series, but they've been able to break blue sides many, many times during that.
Yeah, they're just a bit OP. I'm pretty sure also saw them being, they're like 90% win rate on blue side as well.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit less, but they're still, yeah, definitely doing all right when it comes to blue as well.
Just been very strong thus far in the LCK, and they've really scaled into it nicely. The last time these two teams faced off, I think HANWHA Live looked a lot worse. We had the issue of them being good individually in all of the games, but then never everyone at the same time.
Yep.
This game isn't done by any means. I do think DK still have a good amount of pressure, but when the HANWHA Live is playing like this, it's going to have to be some team fighting that's better than what we've seen thus far from DK. I think the confidence that really ruled a lot of their previous series is not really to be seen just yet. A second Dragon would go a long way to make that happen, though.
Absolutely, especially when it is a Infernal. First one was a Cloud, so certainly going to be some good souls up and available. Making sure, of course, that Orcs is paying attention.
Oh, look at that. Zeus just now finishes his Drive Force.
Is done. Eclipse is up for Shiu, but I think you're feeling pretty good about the Trinity Force spike here for the Camille. Lucid tanking up the Q from Delight and doesn't feel too happy about it.
Yeah, they want banana burst control, and this is something we haven't talked about yet, but the engage for DK is also pretty lackluster in the poke. With this Ezreal Karma is always going to be a big deal as...
the engage Braum, and the ulti out from Shiu is just going to go completely wide. Viper going to take that opportunity to throw some Mystic Shots through, and the Braum unable to do anything at all. And Beryl out of position now. Mystic Shot going to be avoided. The door was there, though, but Beryl's still out of this fight, as that should be the Drake going on over to Peanut. And this is... like, I feel like HLE have not taken anything that they didn't make for themselves, right? Like, they create the space and then Peanuts on the Dragon. They're not going too far.
Oh, yeah, no, I thought what you were saying is that all their advantages are made, not given, and I'm like, we did just watch Beryl.
No. I'm just saying that they don't...
just watch Beryl do the same thing, right?
Yeah. They don't go further than they should.
Then they have to.
Yeah.
As, DK
cool, calm, and collected.
DK feel a little bit less bad now, seeing that it is the...
Oh, Ox is right here.
I know. This
Get the Susja in the chat, please.
I don't think this is a... It's not a horrible Chemtech game.
Well, actually, I do need to actually change my tune, don't I? Maybe Ox blessed us with a Chemtech Soul.
Okay, I don't want to overcorrect. I think we can just accept that it's slightly better. You know, there's a good amount of shielding and healing on HANWHA Life, so you get some value there. But if these fights are gonna have... Oh, Showmaker.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't know.
I'm a little frightened as he does try to flash out of the way. The taunt is still going to land as the hookshot did come through to hold him in position. He does have the shield to give them as the turret's going to try and help him out. But now, both of them getting a little bit sleepy. Shiu making his way into Zeus. Should be the first target. Zeka goes down as well, tries to heroically exit, and he does so! The Justice Punch feels like it has no justice at all as Beryl gives them the door, and Shiu tries to slash up Delight. Not able to actually grab that kill, though, and maybe they've overstepped as Shiu gets a shield back and he dives off forward. What? CLC! This young man is insane! And Zeka will be taken down for the double for aiming! And maybe it's the young rookie that can take DK to a Game 2 win! Oh my god!
Atlas, I'm going to be totally real with you. When he went back in, I'm like, that man is inting. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I was ready for that one too. But instead he decided to just single-handedly hold DK into this game.
That might save the series.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think DK still look all out of sorts, but that right there, gold now even as we start here, Showmaker.
Baited them beautifully.
Yeah, let's not give him that much credit. Really think that they could have gone earlier on the E as well to at least tank some of the damage, but then lose it, it's a big bowling ball. And then they get this, and you're feeling okay, but crucially, they don't kill Zeka. And if just this, that's not enough, right? They invest a good amount of resource, then Shiu goes in here, he's slashing, he's dashing, like, okay, that's cool. But I want to see this re-entry here.
Yeah, this is the true insanity.
Goes back in, then dashes out, then re-engages with the ultimate.
And the ult only keeps him alive, I think because Peanut flashed away? And Lucid's like, what the hell, man?
It's crazy. And because of that play, that's 5 flashes gone for HANWHA. And you know what? That man should not get access to a Chemtech Soul.
That's the value, baby.
I'm just saying,
he didn't even have it yet, and he was already going in with 10 health.
Atlas.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe we're just underestimating Chemtech Soul this whole time.
We got very excited. The reason is I want this to be a 5-gamer. And I think if HANWHA Live win that skirmish, I think DK just get 3-0'd.
Yeah.
They still might. Like, the game is not done. By no means are we in a... Now, you know, we've switched paths to a different world line where different stuff happens, and maybe now it is a 5-gamer. But at least there's a shot, Atlas.
Yeah,
That's all I want.
I mean, this is a gold lead for DK, right? We saw that HLE had held on to the gold advantage throughout most of this game, as Beryl going to drive Shelly into this outer turret. And that will be able to help do a decent chunk of work to opening up the map here for a team that really does like a lot of open space to play with. The Grand Skyfall certainly a big benefactor of that one. Showmaker can get in there anytime he wants. His Stridebreaker is now completed. Going to be going for that Fimbulwinter build once again on this Pantheon.
And that, to me, is the one thing that does need to be fixed.
Is Viper okay? Chains of Corruption is going to be avoided very nicely.
Yeah, she was waiting with the ult there.
Yeah, I actually thought that maybe a public execution could have been the way to open, but instead they throw out the ulti. Not giving away Shiu's position is strong.
Yeah, instead of world's slowest projectile.
Yeah, exactly. World's most notoriously unhittable
Shiu does see the Camille there.
Yeah. And it's just going to clear out the wave, and it looks like no action will ensue.
We do need to highlight, though, Showmaker has been the most praised part of this DK roster.
Yeah.
He has had an incredible split thus far, or an incredible LCK Cup thus far, I should say. For this series, he's felt very invisible. Even that previous play started with his great bait, which, you know, if we give
another way of saying demise, indeed.
Yeah, charitable impression. And do you think once he hits the 2-item spike, Fimbulwinter is insanely strong on any champion that has slows and or any form of immobilizing? Well, Showmaker obviously is both.
Yep.
So he's going to be feeling great, as the Dragon definitely want to pick that up here for DK. We already mentioned there is so much sustain for Shiu, who already, as we saw in the previous fight.
Riftmaker Lilia as well. I feel like that would be pretty
even just healing you get on the Q, right?
Yeah.
We do need to, Shiu does need to make sure he can't die. That is a very important matter here. But, you know, turret going down,
turrets,
who cares? Outer turret already went down in the bot side, so it's not like this matters for the Sandals. Aiming also now hitting the 2-item spike. Do think that the Varus from here on out just gets stronger and stronger if he gets to play the game, which again is going to be a bit of a rough one into things like Camille and Xin Zhao.
Yep.
As we have a trap being set, but for who, I am not sure yet.
Still not entirely
Showmaker's on his way as well.
Yeah, that's going to be the steal. Successful there as the Blast Cone to get all of HLE in there. That gets out Beryl's ultimate, as well as Otacon is going to make his way onto the Rift.
He's creating so much space.
Oh, so much space. That ult zoned everyone.
I know, yeah.
I think most of LoL Park is now feeling zoned.
Can't believe Beryl did that. He doesn't die. So that's all that matters. I think they were looking for a play with Showmaker there, but they couldn't quite find the angle. If HANWHA Life would have gone deeper, though, I could have definitely seen them still trying to make a play for that.
Well, there's some Mega Cone action for you.
Flashers are now back up for HANWHA Life. So Otacon is next. And if I know DK, I wouldn't be surprised if they just started up. And this is the one thing I do think the HANWHA Life comp struggles with, is retaking control of an area. We'll see if they can do it. They don't have a lot of time. Zeus is going to get it back in. I think might have his second item done.
This could be a huge flank.
There he is. Sterix is there.
And it is going to be just a teleport right in towards his backline. But HLE, they've taken control of this Otacon area. DK needs to make sure that he runs out of patience, and he does so. Creates the circle at the wrong place.
Oh, they got TP, so I think DK are going to be happy with that. They can just channel some backs as long as they don't go back with too many. Shiu should now also have his Sterix done, as Otacon still mad.
Just partying, man.
He's cranky, okay?
Having a really...
It
looked like he was having a good time here. And, like, you know, just a punch in the air.
Atlas, he's throwing giant orbs of angry.
No, but, like, it looked like dance moves. Maybe he doesn't know that they're orbs of angry. Maybe he's just trying to dance with everyone.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's fire or just pure anger, but you know not to stand in the fiery balls. You've played enough.
Yes. As an MMO guy, I do understand that it is theoretically bad. However, as an MMO guy, I've stood in my fair share of fire. All right?
Like the good or just accidentally the bad?
Let's just... I often die on Onyxia fights. Let's just say that. As Showmaker going to be tanking the front line, as that is a lot of value there from Peanut, but they're not going to be able to find an engage. And this is one of the things that HLE does struggle to do.
It's just
and that is engage.
Yeah. As now, maybe HANWHA Live return to play, and they just hard force Otacon here, because they do need to answer. Zeka does have his TP available in just a few seconds, so he can match, but I don't think he's going to be too happy facing off into Shiu, who doesn't actually have his
second item
yet, by the way. Yeah, you win the short trade. I think Shiu also identifies that no need for him to go in there. Should have Sterix done now.
Yeah, should be heading home. So we'll see. 3 items, of course, going to be completely ridiculous, but he does complete his... oh, man, that is a lot of damage to come through from Shiu now.
Oh, yeah, went for the...
Spear of Sojin.
Shojin. That ability damage is going to be even more crazy when it comes to these fights. And the one place where I do think that DK have an edge when it comes to the head-to-head is that Karma, right? I think Karma is one of the picks that early on can feel insanely oppressive. She'll always provide good utility.
Yep, and she's got the engage now, because Shurelius means that you can throw Zeus in there.
It's a little better, yeah. Zeus, as long as he has his flash, I still don't think that HANWHA Live is going to be in too much trouble. I also think their poke is a lot better, as mentioned previously, particularly because aiming has gone for the on-hit variety. Doesn't have his third item just yet.
Yeah.
As they're just starting it up again, and this time around...
I mean, there's a lot of DPS up here towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, they're putting him in an awkward position.
Yeah. Look at this, aiming just that rage blade, getting that work done. Peanut going to try and come in. You can see Beryl, he's just giving them the door. There's trying to get in, and now Peanut almost close enough, but it's aiming that locks it down. Peanut now realizing that he just has to get out as the two-man taunt comes through, but everyone's getting sleepy. Shiu, can you stay alive? And the answer is it doesn't matter, because he takes the quick way out, and Lucid will send them all to nap time. Delight going to be falling down next, and it's Peanut that's left on the floor. And anyone that was doubting DK, and yes, I'm pointing towards myself, I think now we have a series starting to form on our hands.
Last game was a nightmare for DK. This time, one for HLE, as that fight initially looks a little dicey. Great call here. As you're pointing out, the damage with on-hit Varus as well as the Lilia, great. They do need literally everyone here to ensure Peanut doesn't get the attempt for a steal. And then Shiu drags a bunch of people away, which I think this is where it looks a little dicey, right? Health bars are low, the poke is good, but then Lucid with the flash Q finds the sleep, finds the damage necessary, and the kills for DK are permanent. Dragon, I don't know what the exact timer is, we can see her on the replay, is coming up, and I imagine that's going to be soul point here for DK.
And over 3,000 gold, now the lead for DK as well. We do have to say, I mean, Zeus was able to send 2 people home. There was Shiu falling down as well.
Still a good amount of gold being given over to HANWHA Live, but
still way more for DK, and the fact that it's permanent Dragon stats to be picked up, and the map control that comes with it. And this is going to the team that has engage advantage anyway, right? Like, they can throw out the public executions, the chains of corruptions, even Beryl can flash forward if he wants to, but the bowling balls, I think, probably a more reliable one. I just needed to tilt all of the engage Brom disbelievers, which I don't... Can you be a disbeliever in something that isn't real?
Isn't that also you?
Yeah, no, I hate it. Yeah. But it is kind of funny.
Time, man.
Especially when you put 5 points in queue as early as possible. Showmaker is going to discover Peanut, and Peanut is going to blast cone himself the wrong direction, straight into all of the bad guys. Does get the red buff, though, as now he's just trying to knock people up, get over some walls, and aiming shoots him in the back of the head.
Yeah, we haven't seen this specific, but this too is Peanut.
Yeah. Yes. Shades of Peanut. We have, every coin has multiple sides.
They still have false lifetimes out right now, so I don't think that I think they're looking for return. I don't think you actually want to try and do this, although Showmaker is TP, as does Zeus.
Yeah, Viper going to be making his way in.
The poke is the big thing here.
4 people here for DK. So the teleport's coming through from absolutely everyone. As Shiu just dives on top of Viper, finds that public execution. And HLE, they've realized now that they just have to get out of there. Chains of Corruption goes wide, but that doesn't matter. Delight is just dead. Zeka is off on the other side. He tries to get out once more, but this time he's executed. It's Showmaker with a double kill, and that should be a Baron once again for DK. They move back to the pit. They'll be able to take it this time. And it's Shellackings after Shellackings here in this series as DK have really taken the bull by the horns. Peanut looking to try and make his way and do something heroic as Beryl zoning once more. They get the control ward over as Peanut has an idea of this health bar.
He hit the W.
The audacious charge will get him in there.
He's
and
in.
this Baron is going down real low.
He gets it.
And Peanut steals it. He tries to get some kills off the back end. He'll go down, but he grabs the purple worm on his way out.
5 health! That's the other shade of Peanut!
Exactly, I'm getting flashbacks to Score, you know. He's sitting alongside KT as they're practicing for the LCK, and it keeps getting brought up. This was 5, not 2, that Cannon Barrage stole it away at, but another Brock's Tiger was the one that did it.
This couldn't start better as well for DK, because they get Viper immediately shield again on this Ambessa, paying off so much in this game. Almost a well-timed escape there from Zeka, but okay.
Viper's dead again.
Yeah, we did get the smite steal. I still don't think that's actually enough, because if you look, who is actually clad in purple? It's one person.
Well, it was 2 people.
Yeah, okay, true.
not so much anymore.
I don't know how he died. I guess I see Barrel flash, so maybe it was the H-Brom?
It looked like it was Shiu, but Shiu's ultimate's still available, so it wasn't that. We'll have to play a little mini-game of Cluedo and maybe get the answers with a replay. Or maybe we just won't, as everyone's just getting a bit tired. Delight is able to mitigate the CC. Zeka is tanky enough for it to be all right as Peanut getting himself out of there. And the poke, even though this isn't the right Varus, is still looking dangerous as DK are sieging these inhibitor turrets.
Credit to aiming as well. He is a player that has been so often criticized for how volatile he is on 80 carries without an escape.
Yeah.
He died once, but he had the autocom buff, so it's not a real death. As we take another look here, Showmaker starts it up, and they force Viper to make his way over the wall, whereas Shiu was just happily waiting.
Yep, and that's why he didn't have to press the R button. It all makes sense. 44 seconds.
Now, it's a 6 gold lead. It's still not unwinnable here for HANWHA Live. We have 3rd item spike on Viper. We also have Zeus, almost level 16. But they're gonna have to find some heroics here to actually win the fight. Maybe you just let the Chemtech trigger go, but as mentioned, I think that this is actually one of the occasions where...
Yeah, Chemtech Soul feels pretty ridiculous. I mean, Showmaker was just cruising around his own jungle under 50% health, Chronicler.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
GA now done here for aiming as well.
I tell you what, the most impressive thing about this game is the fact that it's on Shiu.
Yeah.
Like this win, if DK are able to close this game out, it's Shiu that did it with that incredible play on the top side of the map. As let's see whether Zeka can find the angle. Doesn't get the taunt in time there as the Winds of War come in, but the fight is broken up. Zeka going to need to ult his way in. He gets on top of Peanut, finds a couple with the knockups as aiming, going down incredibly low. He's down, but can they actually get any of the follow-up kills? The Shiu's taken out his opposite number. He is just running amok in this backline, but it's Viper that's able to lock him down. Zeka going to fall as well, as it's a 2v2 in the end. And it's Lucid and Showmaker. Oh no! The lilting lullaby is still there from this Lilia, and Viper is doing his very best, but watch out! Eep, here comes the Lilia, and Lucid's able to shut him down with the help of Showmaker and some of these big old sticks. DK, they will be able to take the soul now.
Testament to HANWHA Live's team fighting. The fact that that was close is very telling, as we see here. A lot of split decisions, I think, and aiming does actually get found this time around, right? Viper goes completely unchecked, and even though Shiu is dealing with both Delight as well as Zeus, it's just that core of HANWHA Live, right? Camille, Xin Zhao, Galio, they're so beefy, do so much damage if they ever get on top of you. And then here, good call. If Lucid and Showmaker would have gone for the Drake instead, there was definitely a world where Viper and Delight just somehow get the better of them. None of that in this one.
Nope. Lucid also making it virtually impossible for Viper to outplay it. Viper actually, I think, did everything that he needed to. But Lucid just had all of the buttons left available. So DK now with a Chemtech Soul, 7,000 gold, the advantage, and a minute and a half until the Baron is up and available. That is going to be the next port of call. 3 times the kills for DK this game in comparison to HLE. And we have bounties up for the inner turrets left standing on the map.
Completely different feel of game. but the score might end up being remarkably similar to the previous one. That's kind of interesting to think about.
It is odd because it does feel like this game was teetering until that play on the top side of the map.
Yeah.
Instead of the last one where it was just a slow, inevitable collapse.
Yeah, there was no teetering.
No, not a lot of teetering. It was the slow motion.
It was very well
down.
telegraphed. You know, we also did warn them.
Yep.
And didn't help. Now, the only thing that DK actually need to do is siege, which I do think is kind of hard into HANWHA Life, as the only one that can really do a good job of taking down these turrets without putting himself in harm's way is Aiming, who's about halfway through his cooldown on the GA. Also, do note Barrel has gone for the counter circle, you know, because HANWHA Life has a lot of circles. Guess what? Barrel has one as well.
He just wants some redemption, man. It does make some sense. Shu trying to cut through Zeus here. 3 items now done as the Sterix comes in for the top laner of DK. The answer is there, though. Zeus has his GA completed.
Yeah, they're going to wait for Nash, which I think makes sense. What you try to do here is don't try and hard force on a turret. Just set up Nash, force them to engage, and then turn on HANWHA Life. I do think DK's turn is actually quite great, as we've seen in many of these fights. So just needs to force HANWHA Life to go in. That said, though, Mikhail's now done for the light as well. We have 3 items for Zeus, level 17. Zeka does also finish his stopwatch. With Hourglass, I should say. So after that last team fight, I think DK very understandably trying to play this one to 100% out. Because if you take a bad team fight against HANWHA Life and you go down 0-2, I don't think you come back in the series.
I mean, you lose this game, the series is so done, is what it feels like to me as well. Just, you would do a lot of mental damage.
Now, I've fought that before, you know, particularly in a series that would be way worse to lose, which was a single inhibitor hit. And that Zeka didn't let that get to him, so maybe we're a bit premature. But I think DK just going to start this one up and force a response out of HANWHA Life, who at some point will have no choice but to face check them.
Oh, you saw.
But that ward is big.
Yep, Zeus spotted on his way for a big flank. I mean, Showmaker can put himself in position, save Aiming, any sort of trouble here. And Zeus realizes there's no joy. Back towards the Baron now goes DK. They will get the permanent vision of this crab.
Yeah, there you go. That is the value of those late game crabbies.
Yep. Oh no, Peanut, it's not a time to have a nap. And Lucid also deciding that in fact he is going to let him walk out. With Mikhail's available from Delight.
Yeah, it was also only 1 man.
Yeah, so you're never really going to use a Lilting Lullaby on 1. Still, HLE.
You're just gonna, keep doing this.
Yep, here's the dance. As DK started up, Grand Starfall available for Showmaker as Shiu towards that top side, and HLE have identified that. That's going to be their target as the public execution to try and bring Shiu back towards the rest of his teammates. And here's the Grand Starfall. Aiming going to be grabbing the first kill in the fight, and Shiu is still alive, ladies and gentlemen, still dashing forward. And Zeus not so lucky. Showmaker puts himself in front of his teammates, and Zeka, nothing he can do to stop the onslaught. Only 1 dead just yet, but the rest of DK still looking for more, and the health bars are slowly disintegrating. Zeka goes golden. He tries to be the hero, but Aiming has that DPS, and DK, they lose no one and wipe the fight.
7.2k damage from Viper, but that's Gamtech value, baby! All below 50, no one goes down, and that should be DK bringing us to 1-1. Again, HANWHA Life team fighting kind of out of this world. The fact that it's even close, testament to their resilience, but I think DK are about to bring us to a tied series, Atlas. Have you checked your hands lately?
Oh, I did. Remember, I checked before and it was starting to appear, but game really is written all over them at this point. The font is getting too large for it to even be readable as the first Nexus turret is taking its hits.
Wait, that can't end.
Yeah, DK are just going to have to back away, I think, as they haven't taken the Baron. Oh dear, that is going to be the pickoff though, as Delight going to be taken down.
Viper and Zeka are coming up. They have to leave. They can definitely take Nash.
Remember what happened when we had another team that also did this? Is okay, Peanut going to be taking half of his health bar. Zeus looking for an angle. Shiu trying to get him out of here. Look at these health bars. They're so low, but Peanut going to be the first one to go down. And the value of the Chemtech soul, ladies and gentlemen, is absurd. As forces that taunt into the backline, but unfortunately 10,000 gold is a hell of a lot of gold, as there's the Chemtech value being represented by Hawks right there. I love that it's a bit out of, like, his face is a bit out of focus. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a bit sus as the next Nexus turret goes down, the Nexus to follow, and DK, they're going to be rewarded for not taking Baron and taking the Nexus instead.
Aiming's face there was like,